Welcome to El Salvador, a land of rich history and culture. In this video, we'll explore El Salvador's history, its role in global events, its vibrant culture, economic progress, myths and folklore, diverse regions, religious tapestry, and top tourist destinations. You know, most people, when they think of El Salvador, they think, well, they probably don't think much of anything at all. It's a small country tucked away down there in Central America. Easy to overlook, but that would be a mistake, my friends, a big one. This place has got soul. It's got stories to tell, stories that'll grab you by the throat and not let go. Join us as we uncover the essence of El Salvador. We'll wander through ancient ruins, sip strong coffee in bustling markets, and maybe even chase a few myths down dusty back roads. Trust me, you won't be bored. Let's kick things off with a little history lesson, shall we? Don't worry, we'll keep it interesting. El Salvador's past is a tangled web of indigenous civilizations, Spanish conquistadors, and hard-fought battles for independence. Before the Europeans showed up, these lands were ruled by the people, descendants of the mighty Aztecs. They built impressive cities, cultivated the land, and worshipped their own gods. Then came the Spanish, with their swords and their crosses, and everything changed. Conquest, colonization, the whole brutal package. The people were pushed aside, their culture suppressed, their traditions driven underground. But the spirit of resistance never died. It simmered beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to erupt. And erupt it did. In the 19th century, El Salvador threw off the shackles of Spanish rule and declared its independence. It wasn't a clean break, of course. There was bloodshed, political turmoil, the usual messy aftermath of revolution. You might not think a small country like El Salvador would have much to do with a global conflict like World War II. But you'd be wrong. Even tucked away down here in Central America, the ripples of war were felt. El Salvador, officially neutral, found itself caught in the crosshairs of geopolitical strategy. Its location, its resources, even its people, became pawns in a much larger game. The pressure to choose sides was immense, the consequences of choosing wrong even more so. And those choices, they left scars. El Salvador's economy, its political landscape, even its sense of self were all shaped by the events of the war. The experience left its mark on the national psyche, a lingering awareness of how quickly the world can change, how easily small nations can get swept up in the tides of history. But through it all, the Salvadoran people endured. They adapted, they rebuilt, they found ways to move forward. The war may have left its mark, but it didn't break their spirit. El Salvador's culture is a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of indigenous traditions, Spanish colonial influences, and a dash of African rhythms. It's a place where ancient myths whisper in the wind, where the scent of pupusas fills the air, and where music and dance pulse with a life force all their own. One of the things that strikes you right away is the color. Everywhere you look, it's like someone cranked up the saturation dial. The clothes, the houses, even the food, it's all a riot of vibrant hues. And then there's the music. From the melancholic strains of the Jarana to the frenetic energy of Cumbia, music is the lifeblood of Salvadoran culture. Whether it's a family gathering or a street festival, there's always a reason to dance. And when the music starts, it's impossible not to get swept up in the energy. But beneath the surface, there's a deeper current running through El Salvadoran culture, a current of resilience, of community, of a deep-seated pride in their heritage. It's a culture that has weathered storms and emerged stronger. A culture that embraces life with open arms and a mischievous twinkle in its eye. Now let's talk about El Salvador's economy. It's a story of resilience, of overcoming challenges, of finding ways to thrive in a world that doesn't always play fair. It hasn't been an easy journey, that's for sure. This is a country that has known hardship, that has faced down economic storms and come out the other side. But here's the thing about El Salvador: they don't give up. They roll up their sleeves, they get to work, and they find a way. Agriculture, manufacturing, services, these are the engines driving El Salvador's growth. And while there are still bumps in the road, the progress is undeniable. The GDP is climbing, foreign investment is flowing in, and a new generation of entrepreneurs is emerging, eager to make their mark on the world. It's a story that's still being written, a story of hope and determination, a story that proves that even in the face of adversity, progress is possible. So yeah, El Salvador's economy may not be perfect, but it's a fighter. And in a world where the odds are often stacked against the small guys, that counts for a lot. Every culture has its myths and legends, those stories whispered around campfires, passed down through generations, that give shape and meaning to the world. And El Salvador is no exception. Here, the line between reality and folklore is blurry. The supernatural seeps into everyday life, and ancient tales still hold the power to chill and captivate. Take La Siguanaba, for example. She's a spectral seductress, said to lure men to their deaths with her unearthly beauty. Or El Tipidio, a mischievous spirit with backward feet who guards the forest and plays tricks on unsuspecting travelers. These aren't just stories told to frighten children. They're woven into the fabric of Salvadoran culture, reflecting the country's deep-rooted beliefs and anxieties. They say that to understand a culture, you have to understand its stories. And in El Salvador, those stories are full of magic, mystery, and a healthy dose of fear. They speak of a world where the natural and the supernatural coexist, where the past is never truly gone, and where even the smallest village can hold secrets as old as time. So next time you're in El Salvador, keep your ears open. You might just hear the whisper of La Siguanaba on the wind, or catch a glimpse of El Tipitio flitting through the trees. And remember, sometimes the best stories are the ones that send shivers down your spine. El Salvador may be small, but don't let that fool you. This little country packs a wallop when it comes to geographical diversity. From sun-drenched beaches to towering volcanoes, from lush coffee plantations to bustling cities, El Salvador is a land of contrasts. A place where you can experience a lifetime's worth of adventure in the space of a few miles. Let's start on the coast. LaLibertad, with its world-class surf breaks and laid-back vibe, is a magnet for surfers and beach bums alike. The Pacific Ocean crashes against black volcanic sands, the air is thick with the scent of salt and sunscreen, and life moves at a slower, more relaxed pace. But head inland, and the landscape changes dramatically. Towering volcanoes dominate the skyline, their slopes cloaked in emerald green forests. The air is cooler here, the pace of life more measured. This is the heartland of El Salvador, a land of coffee plantations, picturesque villages, and ancient Mayan ruins. And then there's San Salvador, the capital city, a vibrant mix of old and new. Colonial architecture rubs shoulders with modern skyscrapers. Street vendors hawk their wares alongside trendy boutiques, and the pulse of the city beats to a rhythm all its own. El Salvador is a deeply religious country, a place where faith is woven into the fabric of everyday life. Catholicism, brought over by the Spanish conquistadors, is the dominant religion, its influence visible in the countless churches that dot the landscape, in the fervent processions that fill the streets during holy days, and in the quiet rituals that mark the rhythms of daily life. But El Salvador's religious tapestry is more complex than just Catholicism. Indigenous beliefs and practices, suppressed but never extinguished, have survived centuries of colonization and continue to thrive, often blending with Christian traditions in fascinating and unexpected ways. You see it in the reverence for nature, in the belief in spirits and ancestors, in the use of traditional healing practices alongside modern medicine. It's a testament to the resilience of indigenous culture, a reminder that faith can adapt and evolve without losing its essence. Whether you're attending a mass in a grand cathedral, witnessing a shamanic ritual in a remote village, or simply observing the quiet devotion of people lighting candles in a roadside shrine, you can't help but be struck by the depth of faith in El Salvador. It's a force that binds communities together, provides solace in times of hardship, and infuses everyday life with a sense of meaning and purpose. So, you're ready to experience El Salvador for yourself? Good. Because this little country is packed with treasures waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a history buff, a beach bum, a thrill seeker, or just a curious traveler looking for something off the beaten path, El Salvador has something for everyone. Let's start with the beaches. El Tunco, with its legendary surf breaks and laid-back atmosphere, is a must-visit for any surfer worth their salt. But even if you're not a wave rider, the beaches of El Salvador offer something special. Black volcanic sands, dramatic cliffs, and crystal-clear waters create a landscape that's both breathtaking and serene. For history buffs, Joya de Seren is a must-see. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a remarkably well-preserved Mayan village, frozen in time by a volcanic eruption over 1,400 years ago. Walking through the ruins, you can almost hear the echoes of daily life from a bygone era. And for those seeking adventure, El Salvador offers plenty of opportunities to get your adrenaline pumping. Hike to the top of a volcano, zip line through the rainforest canopy, or explore the depths of a hidden cave. El Salvador is a country that rewards the curious, the adventurous, and the open-minded. So there you have it, El Salvador, a land of contrasts, a land of resilience, a land of beauty and grit. It's a place that will challenge your preconceptions, that will get under your skin and stay with you long after you've left. This isn't Cancun, folks. You won't find all-inclusive resorts and pre-packaged experiences here. El Salvador is raw, it's real. It's a place where you have to engage with the culture, with the people, with the history, if you want to truly understand it. But if you're willing to put in the effort, if you're willing to get a little lost, to step outside your comfort zone, then El Salvador will reward you in ways you never imagined. You'll find beauty in unexpected places. You'll connect with people on a deeper level. And you'll leave with a newfound appreciation for this small but mighty country. So come on, what are you waiting for? Book that ticket, pack your bags, and get ready to discover the heart and soul of El Salvador. We've only just scratched the surface here. El Salvador, like any place worth its salt, is a country best experienced firsthand. So get out there. Explore, get lost in the back streets, taste the food, listen to the music, talk to the people. You'll find beauty in the most unexpected places, kindness in the faces of strangers, and a resilience, a spirit that'll leave you humbled. This isn't a place for the faint of heart, but for those who crave something real, something raw, something that will stay with you long after the trip is over. El Salvador is calling.